Welcome to take two of last week's exciting reading adventures for the week of August 19th through to August 22nd, 2024. And I did a reading of two issues of Superman written by my good friend Elliot S. Maggin. He's a guy I usually have lunch with once in a while. We usually go to Cantor's or Art's Deli in Studio City, and we always gorge on pastrami sandwiches or corned beef rye, and just talk comics and stuff, along with my friend Sparky Santos. I read this issue from 1974. I must have been 10 years old while Ellie was pushing 23. This is called The Man Who Murdered Metropolis, and then we're going to do a quick run through here. It's a story, like I said, it's epic Herculean proportions by Elliot S. Maggin, Kurt Swan, and Julius Schwartz was editor. The cover is sort of misleading. There's a giant hand crushing the city. We don't know whose hand it belongs to. Maybe it could belong to cover artist Nick Cardy. Elliot has divulged that he had through no office pools to determine out who the real culprit was. So, but actually in the splash page, you notice there's a green hand, and that's a clue to who the major villain might be. This story initially opens up with a TV strike, and which just kind of plays it was a little coincidence in my life because I played a part in the last summer's writers and TV strikes. I managed the site at CBS Radford Studios, and kind of glad to see that we're all on the same page here. Superman's manager there is Morgan Edge, and not a lot of media like TV and cartoons ever mentioned the fact that Clark Kent was once a TV reporter. So clacking through, something's happening in Metropolis here. So there's a mirror image of Metropolis appearing from the sky. Now the main plot goes, if this illusion of Metropolis clashes with the real Metropolis, there's going to be entropy and disaster and all sorts of crazy nonsense. So Superman runs to confront the fake mirror image city, and he runs afoul of none other than the villain, revealed to be Silver Age Brainiac, old school style, not the kind that you see on the new My Adventures with Superman cartoon, whose voice is chillingly portrayed by Michael Emerson from the show Lost and the recently ended Evil on Paramount Plus, which is a great damn show. I'm sorry to see it go, but as the last episode leaves interpretations for new stories to happen. So anyway, Superman is in the pickle here. He's in the proverbial Brainiac pickle, and they go to he's got to find a way to get out of this. So but something is up with Morgan Edge. He's got something's going on with him. And I wanted to point out that this whole city can collide, the real Metropolis can collide with the image Metropolis. I pretty much think that Colin Nolan lifted this idea from Elliot Maggin for his movie Inception. It seems like it's similar thing that happened here. Big fight ensues with Brainiac, and something does go bad here. They collided. What happened? What happened here? Well, we'll have to find out here. Fight here. Somehow, Brainiac is defeated. And Superman reveals at the end that Superman gave Morgan Edge a device that can televise fake news footage. Isn't that wonderful? There's a backup story, Fabulous Untold Stories of World of Krypton by Lily Magin also wrote. Excuse me. And I don't know the gist of it. I don't know the whole backstory behind these stories are. Every once in a while, and it just goes over my head. So that was a great story by Elliot there. The next one, this brings back some memories from my grade school reading days. The Protectors of Earth Incorporated, also written by Mr. Magin there, and it's a story that could easily fit on an episode of the 1950s Superman show. There's a writer called Mr. Halibut, Wade Halibut, and Elliot informed me on Facebook that he's sort of a riff on Kurt Vonnegut. And I don't know, wasn't a reader of Vonnegut. And it's a story about, he wants to write a book about how a reporter acts in the world, in the face of world devastation. That's a subplot. The main plot is Superman must help this Dr. Trump, no relations to a-hole Trump, who has the audacity to run for president for a third time. He's got this device that could cause the world to be sucked up into a vacuum. And don't know why someone would invent something like that, but nonetheless, Superman does, and he runs afoul of these people who are a crime protection syndicate called Earth Protectors Incorporated. Yeah, Protectors of Earth Incorporated. Flipping back to the first page, read the title. And I don't know how different they are from Intergang, as they can afford to have these elaborate criminal devices like enhanced footballs that can form a force field around Superman, or here's a tennis player who's causing crap with some birdies, and of course there's some baseball player wants to hit a line drive to Superman's face, and they kidnap this Dr. Trump, and Superman has to go rescue them from them, not knowing that he's being tailed, but Clark Kent himself is being tailed by these criminals, and Clark tries to lose them on a metro bus, and that doesn't end well, because as soon as Clark rings for a stop, the criminal tries to follow him. Oh, this is my stop too, and he tries to leave the bus. Clark just slams the rear door in his face. That happens a lot on metro buses. And so, and another one, Superman goes and dispatches one with just a clunk on the head, which is like so reminiscent of the old 50s show. So anyway, there's a mysterious villain who runs behind the crime syndicate, and Elliot Magin doesn't really reveal who he is. He may have done in a future story, but I don't have access to those issues. So back to Dr. Trump's office. Clark's he's got to hold this device steady. He's got to hold this. He can't unwaver it, man. He can't make one freaking move, or otherwise that tear in the space is going to open up, and boom, everything's going to be sucked out into space. And these guys, they just bust in, and they said, you know what, we're going to kill this doctor, anyway. So the boss, even though the boss just wants Clark Kent, but the crooks think, oh, what you got a Superman statue in the laboratory for? What is it? Is it a decoration? And there's one thing clocks him on the head, and that ruse doesn't work, so shoots him. Nothing happens. So anyway, they're gonna shoot the doctor, and uh, and as they're about to shoot, Superman's got, I can't allow this to happen. I can't. If I move one muscle, one super muscle, that device it's gonna open that tear and everything's gonna get sucked off. And but Superman can't let the doctor get killed in front of him, so he intervenes. Crushes the guy's hand, punches the other dude in the face, and that tear goes, "See what you did, Superman." Typical Trump response. Trump, he never wants thanks for anything. It's just typical. There's the hole. That goes that hole. Oh, it's tearing everything. Oh, everything's getting sucked in space. Superman gets sucked up in it, and boom, he gets sucked hard, like a vacuum. And look and see the stretch. You remember that time when Superman auditioned for the lead role of the Stretch Armstrong movie and didn't get it? Well, kind of a little reminiscent of that. And eventually, Superman uses his dike clogging powers, his dike clogging powers, and the man and everything's just copacetic again. But meanwhile, Superman gets up. He just gets up and he starts walking away, and Elliott's got this huge monologue here. As a hero among heroes trudges out, crushing the doomsday trigger, almost as an afterthought. He leaves behind 3 old humans who know not whether to kneel or simply cry in his presence. For this they know, they are in the presence of greatness. That's all nice and dandy, but Superman's walking away from two armed criminals who try to kill a doctor, and they're just Elliot never reveals whether they got picked up by the police or not, or maybe artist Chris Swan just left that on the cutting room floor. Here, the end is that doctor guy, and he reveals that, this book wouldn't have worked out because there's supposed to be no Superman in it. So that's that. So I read some classic 1950s Marvel's Atlas reprints in this issue of Beware, reprinted in 1973. It has a bunch of old Stan Lee's collaborations with Carmine and Fantino when they were doing some work on some EC style books. Horror, mystery, war, love, romance, that type of stuff. They were just knockoffs that EC were doing. And they really had nothing else better to do, with the Comic Code's authority looming. And the only other thing they were doing were like Millie the Model and Submariner and Captain America books. Superheroes were dead at this time. Typical Genie story there. This was a good story. Stanley doesn't credit who did the artwork though, but you see his name right there. But this is my favorite one. The Man Who Walked on Water. It's like an old Henry type of story about this guy just walking on water in front of this guy fishing. Hey, how you doing that, buddy? It must be. You into the carny before? And he just wants that part of that big loot he's imagining in his head. So he decides to force the guy by gunpoint to tell him the secret how he's walking in the water. And it's just a simple act of just diving down to the bottom of the water and just eat some special magically powered seaweed. But when you come up, you swim up to your top, and you find, hey, it works. But there's only one caveat. One old Henry style caveat. You can walk on water, but you can't walk on land again. I like that. Reading that, it evoked me of some memories of what I wanted to do one of these days is buy some of these hardcover books that Marvel and Fantagraphics are teaming up to reprint the old Marvel Atlas horror stories. I thought this was a fascinating read. This was given out last Free Comic Book Day, and I wouldn't mind having a collection of these stories. You know, I missed out on those big, huge EC reprints, and this certainly would make up for it. Yeah, some war stories, some horror stories, some humor stories. There's a cover to one of those books. So I finished the week off by reading a old 1969 Rawhide Kid comic, and it was drawn by Larry Lieber, who happens to be Stan Lee's brother. And it's just a typical Rawhide Kid episode where Rawhide Kid's mistake is kidnapped and captured to take the place of a doppelganger of his that happens to be the prince of some foreign country, and that fiendish plot is plotted by the general, the prince's general, and I don't know why a prince of Russia type country would come into the Wild West. But some good battle scenes here. Rattlesnakes galore, and great gunfighting stories here. Great, this is a good page. What was that? Is it the page I'm coming up? I think it's coming up right here. Yeah, that's a great page. Rawhide Kid in action. These stories typically ran longer than the regular Marvel issues, I guess, because they didn't have they didn't have 2-page letter pages and editorial pages, but they ran 22 pages per issue rather than 20. Okay, so that's all I got for this week. Come back next week. I'm going to do review some Gold Key books, and this happened to be 4 minutes shorter than the last one, so I'll take it. Bye.